Good afternoon. It is, you know what time it is. It's time for touring into your show for news, information, and more for this May 5th, 2023. Cinco de Mayo. Couple things I want to talk to you about, just housekeeping. All our shows repeat, and I really want to thank you guys and thank Pastor Melvin for the show last week. You guys really got the word out. 300 views, 13 shares. Let's get Big Al's death solved. Okay, let's get it solved. If you didn't get a chance to watch the show, you can watch last week's show. Now, I want to talk to you about how you can watch this show. If you're listening to the show and you don't get a chance to get home to ask questions, you can rewatch the shows on WVS 103.7 The Beat Facebook site, or you can watch it on M106 Rock and Soul, and I can scroll down on the bottom. Thank you, Lady J. Also, you can watch it you can subscribe to our YouTube page, WVS 103.7 The Beat, Torn into all these shows are on there. Okay. The weather outside, 72 degrees outside with a low of 53. Looks like we're heading in the right direction. And but with warmer weather, there's a bad thing that comes with warmer weather. And as the police told me a couple weeks ago, soon as spring break happens, they know the shootings and the crime will go up. And unfortunately, they're right again. Just this week, the church that I go to, there's a dead body found there in the morning. And we're not making this stuff up. You know what's happening. Later on in the week, a 15-year-old shot. The school's on lockdown. Later on, a 14-year-old shot. Now they're trying to figure out, and the next day, retaliation, shots all over Muskegon and Muskegon Heights. People, when y'all gonna wake up? When y'all gonna wake up? You know, do you want to keep living this way? As we did a show on a 6-month-old died in her house. Somebody spraying bullets. Not even shooting at the people, missing the people. And a bullet just goes to the house. Bullet has no vision, no eyes, it just goes. When y'all gonna wake up? And it's getting warmer outside. And now they're trying to wonder how to keep these kids safe for prom. So be smart. Use Silent Observer. The hell with this snitches get stitches stuff. Use Silent Observer. The number is 231-722-7463. The hell with this snitches get stitches stuff. Do you want your child on the street with this going on? No, I'm the wrong one. And this radio station is the wrong one. Speaking of our guest today, you know, Mike Tyson once said this: everybody has a plan until somebody gets punched in the face. And I've been there. You know, I have a plan and then something bad happens and then all hell breaks loose. I want you to watch this video and then I'm going to introduce a very special guest that we have today. Go ahead, Lady J. The video is very well. You know what? I'm not going to explain it because the person that I had on did a very great job of doing it. She's near and dear to me. She's my little sister, but more so, I got to add a new title to that. She's now an author, and she put something together that is going to be very special because we need to start thinking about our mindset, the way that we think. You know, something bad's happened, and what happens? We set up another goal, fund me page, or we get shirts made and balloons sent out and all this kind of stuff, but we can't pay for burials and all that kind of stuff. I'm really proud of my sister. I'm really proud of her dedication. I'm really proud of her zeal to try to change the mentality of the way we think. Put your hands together for our guest today, Tonya Roberts Ford. How you doing, sis?
I am well. Thank you so much, big brother. That doesn't make up for the times you beat me up all those years.
Uh,
Okay.
you had to go there. All right, all right. Let's get down to business.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
Tanya, tell people about yourself. A little bit about yourself, and you're in Georgia, right?
Yes, I live in Georgia. I'm in it. Well, I live in McDonough, Georgia. It's about 25 minutes from Atlanta, Georgia. You know, me, I'm in the life insurance industry. I went to school. You know, we grew up in Muskegon, Michigan, and everything. I went to college. I got my certificate in medical assisting there, and um, worked in the medical field off and on for about 15, 20 years, I could
Mm-hmm.
say. I was a stockbroker for 5 years. And then I got in the insurance industry, and I've been in the insurance industry for about 15 years now. And I'll tell you, a lot of stuff you said with the intro is so it's saddening. It's very sad, but the things that I witness and see so often now is that if we don't change our mindset with money and our mindset about things that's going on, and that whole I'll wait to do this or procrastination, if we
Mm-hmm.
don't change our mind with procrastinating about getting our affairs in order, we'll never ever get to a level where we can start leaving a legacy and all of those type of things.
And I want everybody to just do what I did. I shared this to my go to WVS or M106, find the show and share it to your site because it's more than life insurance. It's about a lifestyle. It's about a change in the way that we think, right?
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, you have to change your mindset because what I deal with, and really my main thing is I really want to help our community because it's really our community, the ones that don't have the life insurance, that don't have their affairs in order, and that's not all. Let me put that out there so nobody say, oh, yes we do. Not all, but I will say the majority do not have their affairs in order. When you talk about life insurance and things, and they don't really know what life insurance is, it's called life insurance. They can use this stuff while they're still living, to build cash for them, stuff they can use while they're still alive to help them if they want to open up a business, if they want to go to college or for the kids. They can use these benefits for that, but also you want to make sure that you're insured so that when something happens, because here's one thing that's going to happen: we all going to die one day. There's no question about that. We're all going to die one day.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, we don't know when and how. Okay. And so if something's going to happen, why wouldn't you get prepared for it?
And
It's
at
the
the,
mindset.
well, and here's the thing. This is not an infomercial. This is not an infomercial. This is about truth and reality.
Mm.
It's about having your house in order. Because too often we just naturally not unless you have a mental problem or got something going on. Normally, you don't wake up going, "Today I'm gonna die."
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely not.
that's not happening in your head.
No.
and then all of a sudden it just takes a deer or a bullet or somebody that's maybe using drugs the wrong. I
Or
mean,
natural disaster, tornado, hurricanes. Nowadays people just going into places and killing people for no reason. You can get shot in schools. All kinds of things are happening right now. I mean, it doesn't. It's so many things that's happening right now. It's like, yeah, hopefully you live to be in your old age where you have your family and your great grandchildren around you, and you die old and you had a great life. But people are dying and being mowed down in the grocery store, in the meat department. You can go out down here in Georgia where I'm at just yesterday, two separate incidents. A guy was outside shooting his gun, his AK-47. His neighbor came by and asked him, could you stop? That's loud. He's followed him to the house and killed his whole family.
Yep, that just happened.
Killed his whole family. It's like you can't say, everybody's so uptight. And so you say something, anything, it's like the road rage, all kinds of stuff is happening where people are dying. And the thing is, they're not prepared. They don't have life insurance. They don't have a will. They don't have any of this stuff.
Or it has got so serious that even at the place of worship, you got to have security teams and people carrying guns.
And in the hospitals down here yesterday, a guy came in and shot 5 people in the hospital that work in the hospital.
So, talk about your zeal for this. You decided to do something you did that I have not seen done before and done to such perfection. Talk about, now you're an author. What'd you do?
Well, what I did was what made me do it and what really, said, this is so vital that we need this. Okay, I've been in the life insurance game for a while and I've seen a whole lot. But really what changed my mind was COVID. When COVID came, and when I saw people in the hospital, when I saw their families running around, their children, their loved ones running around trying to figure out, how do we keep the household running? How do we pay the bills? How do we, what do they want for their health care? How, what are their wishes? What do they have life insurance? Nobody had any of the info, not everybody, but people didn't have the information in one spot where people can go obtain their information. Mm-hmm. They didn't know, okay, so what bills are due in the house? So if you got both the husband and wife in the hospital, the kids are running around trying to figure out what's going on. Right. And so now they're running around trying to figure out, when's the mortgage due? The car note, the credit cards, all this kind of stuff that has to be paid. Nobody has the information, the numbers, the passcodes, none of that kind of stuff. Or do they have life insurance or will to say what their wishes, what they want their wishes to be? As far as like right now, I think about how, Jamie Foxx is in the hospital. We don't know what's going on with him. We don't know. But, he's somebody that got the means and money and stuff, but do everybody know what his wishes are and how to keep his house running smoothly? It's like we think we're going to live forever and we're going to be here, and you don't have your affairs in order. So what I did was put together what I call the 3P workbook. And and I named it 3P because it stands for past, present, and peace. And the reason I think about the past is because all of this stuff is like my medical background and being in the life insurance industry. Mm-hmm. Past, you go to a hospital, run to a hospital, or if someone's there and don't know your past, see, this is life-saving things that can happen. Do doctors know what you're allergic to? What medications you're taking? What's your past history with surgeries? Do they know any of those type of things?
What's your blood type?
What's your blood type? That's in the book. What's your blood type? These are all things that can help save time with doctors to say, okay, fine, we don't have to play around with hours trying to figure this stuff out and accidentally give you something that might kill you because they didn't know you were allergic to it. Or no, this is something that was not, didn't know your health history. So that's your past, your present, to make sure that, if you are in a position incapacitated where you can't speak for yourself, your wishes are all written in this book. Everything. as far as how you want your wishes to be carried out.
Now,
And also, go
I
ahead.
want I want to stop you right there because
Okay.
I want to take you back with us in the family
Right.
when our mom
Yep.
sat us together.
Down.
Talk about that story and
And that's in the book. That's in my workbook as well. When my mom sat us down, my mom died at the age of 50. We found out she went in the hospital in January. They didn't know what was going on. March, they let her out for one day. And then I'm like, something's not right. That was when I was in the medical field. Something's not right. Went back. They found out she had cancer. She died in May. And so she went through the transition a bit, faster than, of course, we did. But when she sat us down and said everything she wanted, she said, I don't want y'all fighting. I don't want you guys to be sad. She said, because I am going to someplace so beautiful. I want you guys to live. I want you guys, here's where I want to be buried. This is the color where I want to be buried in. She told us to a T what she wanted. Mm-hmm. And we made sure we absolutely followed that out. Mm-hmm. When you don't have those clear instructions, like with our dad, we didn't have that with our dad. We had to sit in that room, that chapel, and figure this stuff out, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We had to figure that out. But if you have this workbook, you are in control of how you want your wishes and how you want things to be carried out, because it's already written in this book. And not only is it just written, I have legal documents in here to make sure that that nothing can be contested. If because some kids, you might have some family members, well, I don't want them to be cremated and that kind of thing, when they specifically said they did want to be. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I have this 94 pages in this book. I have legal documents so that you take in front of a probate judge and you get this stuff so that all your affairs in order, nobody can contest it, and so that it takes away that feeling, because that's a harsh feeling that you have to go through when you have to decide what you think your loved one wanted. What color do they want to be in? You're already grieving because they died. You're already grieving, but now you got to put this on top of it.
Right. And being someone that had to take care of mom and grandma and dad, yeah. Those are tough choices that you have to do. Let's go to Ohio. Hey, sis. She says, I have the workbook and it is very thorough and easy to complete. Gives peace of mind. Thank you from Ohio.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing I want to make sure that it gives you peace of mind to know, first of all, we got to make sure you got life insurance, that you got some kind of coverage, because this GoFundMe thing, you think, or procrastinating, I'll wait to get it to after I go on vacation or I buy some furniture. I've actually had people tell me that. And also not insuring our kids. This is a thing that people sometimes they just steer away from that. They don't want to hear that at all. It's like, I don't want to talk about my kids dying. But what do we see out here, especially in our community? They're dying every day. They're killing each other every day.
You're just preaching the truth.
And so the thing is, though, but see what people don't know, then they get on television and all that kind of stuff saying, oh, well, he was such a good child or she was such a good child. And I'm not saying you're not teaching your children right from wrong, because kids could get caught up in everything like that. But here's the thing. If your child is out there robbing somebody, and if you're going to rob me and it's my life or yours, I'm sorry. What I'm going to choose.
Night.
Okay. Cause it's like, so that's not a question, but if you're out there and your kids are out there running wild, this Y generation, I don't want to talk about them too bad because they got this entitlement mindset, but that's a whole nother show. Okay.
We ain't got time today.
Okay. We ain't got the time. But to make sure that you are insuring your children. But the thing is, you have to know that if your child is out there doing something illegal, these insurance companies can not pay that.
Now, and you talked about the passcodes, the passwords, like in our household, for
Mm-hmm.
instance, my wife, she gives me so much money,
Mm-hmm.
I pay all the bills.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, she doesn't know all the she don't know the passwords, she don't know when, dates, places, any of that stuff. She has none of that
And you know what's
information.
going to happen? God forbid, if something happen to you, brother. You know what's going to happen? They're going to freeze all that stuff. They're going to freeze the accounts. They're going to freeze everything because she don't have that information. First of all, my husband and I, we have accounts together, but we also have our own individual joint accounts. Of course, he knows my passwords. He knows my accounts number. I know his stuff. Okay, you can keep your stuff private. I ain't trying to go on your account and go shopping on a shopping spree. Okay, I'm not trying to do that, but just to have that information, and then I know trust account people, we need to start thinking about our kids as trust fund babies, but that's a whole nother story. A lot of people don't have the money to set up trust accounts, but if it and they think trust accounts are for multimillionaires. I don't care if you make $20,000 a year or 200 million. Trust accounts we can use, and that can keep you away from probate court.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is when you die, you don't have no will, you don't have anything written or any of that kind of stuff. You're gonna be in probate. And what's going to happen to your young kids if you pass away and you got younger kids?
Right.
Where is it written? Where are they going? What if their other parent is not there? Okay, so where are the children going? Your people will be like, oh, well, my grandma take care of them, or my mother or father and stuff. You need to have all that stuff clearly articulated and written down so that people know exactly what your wishes is, all the way down to your pets. Where you want your
Right.
pets to go?
Let's go back to Ohio. Sister Vicky, she says, yes, some of our kids do have an entitlement mindset. Yes, they do.
They
Yes,
do. That's a
they
whole
do.
nother encyclopedia with this entitlement mindset. Don't get me started on that.
So let's take our household. We'll
Mm-hmm.
take our household. I'm 58. She's 61. We do have insurance, but we have nothing written down. So there's no will. There's nothing written down.
But that's your fault. Y'all should have got the book early when I first sent it out the first.
Okay, so to talk us, you said you got lawyers. You got explain why the lawyers explain the whole process to people that don't understand.
When you say the process, what do you mean? The process,
Like
as far as like when you pass away, what
if
happens?
I pass away, stuff get froze,
Yeah,
and to get that stuff, you have to go to
the probate
court.
court. Mm-hmm.
So explain to people that whole process, and give us some horror stories because you and I have talked a lot, and you've had some dingers.
Wow. Um, I talked about like my DJ that at my wedding, how he was killed by his own son, okay, because of a car, over a car. The son had gotten many accidents. They fixed the car, got it back together, all well and everything. And then he didn't want him to drive the car. And then him being his age and these kids, they think they can challenge everybody, and they have no respect. Some of them, not all, to have no respect for their elders, could challenge his dad. His dad got into his butt, and the boy went in the house and ended up shooting 5 times to kill him.
Wow.
And and unfortunately, I was one of those cases where I had talked to him about getting life insurance, and he was one of those people about, oh yeah, I'm gonna holler at you, I'll get that later. Yeah, I got other stuff to do. Okay, so lot of that going on. I have been to 5 funerals between February and March. 5 funerals I went to. 5. Okay, so it was 2 of the people were, elderly, had some sicknesses, died. Okay, the other ones, all of them actually had some issues where they actually had some health issues and end up passing away. I had a lady that I had her signed up for life insurance, had her child on there, and she left the job and she said, well, I'm going to cancel my life insurance. And I was like, please don't do that. That's the thing with the mindset. Here's the thing. That's the last thing I have to say in other cultures that they will cancel. They'll let that car go be you're taken out of that driveway, repossessed before they cancel their life insurance policies. But in our culture, it's the life insurance policy has to go first.
Well, let's okay
And
then.
let me
Let's
tell you just real quick about what happened with that. She canceled that policy, and 3 months later, her 17-year-old son got shot in the head.
wow, wow. Let's talk about that ghetto fabulous life. We'll get those nails done. We'll have those
Oh
22-inch
Oh
rims.
yeah. We're
And
gonna get the nails, the hair done, the installations. We're gonna have we gonna go out, we partying, we smoking blunts, we doing all kind, we getting all having party, we going to Miami, we doing all kinds of stuff. And then do not think at all about what happens if something happens to them. And then when it does, because there has been so many instances where something has happened to them, then it's like they get that diagnosis, that diagnosis, cancer, heart attack, stroke, those type of things, get that diagnosis. Then they're calling, oh, can I get a policy now? It's too late now. No, can't get it. Sorry. Or somebody gets killed, which happens more often than I hate to see it. I hate to see it. This is another reason why I'm like, I got to do something. They get killed, and then it's like, now the family's trying to do a GoFundMe account. Instead of sacrificing, like I said, nobody's saying don't live your life and have fun. I'm not saying that at all. Do that. But you got to make some sacrifices and make sure if something happens in your household's still going to be able to run smoothly. And you also going to be able to take care and make sure that you don't put the burden on your family and put them more in debt by having to pay for your funeral or your cremation.
right. I just, being pastoral and stuff like that and doing funerals, I've known where families did a mock funeral or
right, and then they go back later on and do the cremation.
The cremation, but the thing is that they don't have enough money
to even do that.
to get the ashes.
Yeah, exactly.
And
And
then
that's exactly it.
And then they want to put the ashes on layaway. Basically.
Yeah. No, GoFundMe is not your life insurance policy, and neither is your church. And that might be hard for some people to hear. Yes, your church should help you out, I believe, if you have some issues or whatever. But as far as them paying for everything, as far as for your funeral, that they're not your life insurance policy. It's not. And it's all the mindset. But you know what? I can't really blame it on too many people. That's why we have to give information, because we weren't taught a lot of times about life insurance and about what it can do for you and how it can change the trajectory of your lineage by having a life insurance policy. We weren't taught that. Mm-hmm. So it's like, a lot of times some families do teach it, but we weren't taught it. We know our grandma had life insurance on everybody, but nobody sat us down and say, this is what life insurance can do for you.
Or what the insurance policy were.
Or what it is, and if you got enough coverage. If you have enough coverage to make sure that everything is taken care of, that's another problem. So it's like you have to, it's changing the mindset. So it's like, I would rather go out here, buy all these clothes. I have to tell you, tax time is right now. People get their money back. Money. And I did something on this. I said, what you gonna do with your tax fund? What are you gonna do? Okay. And here's what's so unfortunate. You go someplace. I had some companies at Lenox Mall here that I service, and went there, and it's like designer stores wrapped around the corner with who? People of color, wrapped around the corner, going to make them rich, going to make Louis Vuitton rich, going to make, Gucci, going to make them rich, but don't have their affairs in order. How they fronting going around here. This guy, one guy I was talking to, dressed impeccably. BMW, got the nice jewelry on, all this kind of stuff. So me, I'm like, hey, this was, years ago, he was trying to holler at me. You ain't trying to holler at me. We trying to see what your portfolio look like. All right. So, let's talk about your account. Let's talk about how much insurance you have. Oh, I don't have no insurance. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Do you have a portfolio, some stocks, bonds, some interest growing? No, none of that. I'm written and I got a roommate. You ain't got no house, but you got all this going on. You look good, but you don't have none of your affairs in order. This is the mentality that has to stop. This is what we have to realize, that it's a sacrifice, yes, especially if we want to make sure our kids can go to school without not having to get student loans, without having to borrow money from banks, without have to doing that. There's so many things out here that we can do. If you, instead of getting your nails done, I mean, I like getting my nails done and my hair and stuff done, but if I can't afford to get my nails done twice a week, guess what? I know how to do them.
Well,
it's a sacrifice.
Now, we talked about, money versus put in a 401k versus put in different accounts. And you talk about that as well.
I talk about that as well. Absolutely. I'm kind of, you said it's not an infomercial, so I'm not go there.
No, but we need to inform. This is about information. So
okay, yeah, I am partial to universal life policies, and here's why. Because universal life policies is something that's tax-free, something that's liquidity. You can get your hands on it immediately. It gets you a much index universal life policies gets you a much higher interest rate than just putting your money into a whole life policy. They may pay you 2 or 3% or something like that. These policy index universal life policies, they're tied to the S&P 500. So therefore you can get 8 to 10, 12, 15, 20%. It's whatever the market is doing. Now, it's not in the market, but it's tied to it. It's indexing. So that's a whole nother thing. I've done that. They can go to my website and see what I talk about that. So these things where you can use this money while you're alive, for whatever reason you want to, but when you pass away, it all gets transferred tax-free to your beneficiary. The money and the cash and the death benefit. It flourishes. And so it's nothing wrong with a Roth account, 401ks. If your job is matching you say they matching you 6%, absolutely put your money in there. That's free money. You better do it. Whatever they matching you better do it. But as far as earning interest somewhere else, you make sure, I am all for the index universal life policies and things like that, because they do have a much better interest rate of return.
I want to talk to you about an incident that happened in Muskegon where a person passed away unexpectedly. The family thought that they were okay, and they went into the funeral parlor, and with their insurance, they went in there and they had $100,000 worth of coverage, and they thought they were okay. But it was $100,000 of accidental insurance.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? That is something that I am so I get angry with other agents about that, because you need to be very clear. When I'm talking to my clients, I'm very clear about what type of policy they have. That if it's a term policy, hey, I give them, kind of say, okay, here's a term policy. Say you're 50 years old, you buy a 30-year term policy. When you turn 80, you still here, which I know you will be, and all that kind of stuff. I joke around with them, but that policy is going to expire. You have no money. That policy expires. Now you have to go get another life insurance policy, which is going to cost you a whole lot much more money because you're older. And now if you have health issues, that's a term. You have to be clear what type of policies they have. And an accidental policy is that you die in an accident. But if you die from a heart attack, stroke, or something like that, they're not paying that. It doesn't cover that.
We have to go to the board. Pastor Melvin Burns, my partner in Christ. How you doing? I pray that you're having fun, my brother. Says great discussion. He says, I can tell you as a pastor how much people need to hear this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish you were on today.
Yeah, we wish you are, but hey, we understand that you're having fun.
Yeah.
Tonya,
And here's one thing you also don't do, which you have life insurance. You do not take your life insurance policy down to the funeral home and tell them, here we go. Here.
I want you to tell that. Would you tell people that story about that?
Oh, yeah. I've had several people do this, and it's like, it just infuriates me. It's like, you never take your whole policy down to a funeral home, because funeral homes, not saying they're bad people, but they can kind of play on your emotions. All right. You want to buy the funeral, you want the casket with the air conditioning in it, kind of stuff. They're just all kinds of crazy stuff. Where this is just a shell, but right now you're grieving. And so you take that life insurance policy, say your policy is $25,000 or $30,000. Guess how much your funeral going to be? $25,000 or $30,000, because they're going to make sure they play on your emotions to the point where they're going to use up every single bit of this. No, you go in there and you tell them, this is what I want. I want this, which should be already written down in the 3P workbook, as we said. Right. This is what I want. I want this casket. I want them to, here's the clothes they're going to be buried in. I want this. I want that. How much is that going to be? You let them tell you how much is it going to be. They tell you how much is it going to be. Fine. That's what we want. And then that's how you proceed. And they say, well, how are you going to pay for it? Don't worry about it. We got the money for it. That's all, we got it. You need an installment. You need a loan, down payment or whatever we got to do. Yes, we can do that. But you don't ever go in there and tell them, this is my life insurance policy. I know they need that sometimes just because they need their money. They're there for profit. They're in there trying to make some money. I understand that. You may be able to tell them the company you with, if they want to call and ask the company, okay, this is what the person is asking for. So therefore, this is how much it's going to be. Sometimes they may be able to tell you that's fine, but the insurance company is never going to tell you how much that policy is for or how much it's worth.
I want to talk to you a little bit about something that you took on, and Vicky as well, and you guys are challenging me to take it on, that how important it is to be healthy and be in good shape, and how that plays to getting insurance.
Yes, absolutely. Great question. And here's the thing why I started, because I'll be 55 in 2 months here. And so I said, I want to lose 55 pounds before I turn 55 because I gained the weight back. I have a lot of health issues, from a car accident. I have cervical neuropathy. I got back issues, all this kind of stuff. So I gained this weight back. And so that's why I'm doing the videos, working out, that type of thing. And because I said, let me put it out here, because I want people to join me as far as and inspire them as far as hopefully they will work out. Mm-hmm. A lady, one of my clients, was upset because she had to pay more of a premium because she didn't feel she should have to pay this higher of a premium for the insurance. And I had to remind her, you just had a stroke last year. Mm-hmm. You weigh 345 pounds and you're 5'7", because they look at your BMI, your body mass index. You have high blood pressure. You have all these issues. Now, they're not saying they won't insure you, but they're saying you're going to have to pay the price.
You're going to
have to pay higher, right. And you're going to have to wait 2 years. They have like a 2-year waiting period for certain people that have more heavier issues before they pay out the full amount. Unless you die in an accident, then they'll pay it right away. So I said, I'm going to start exercising and put that out there, because I want people to know I'm the type of person, I'm not going to do anything that I'm not say anything or that I'm not willing to do myself. Mm-hmm. The healthier you are, the younger you are, the better rates you're going to get. Mm-hmm. Point blank period. Mm-hmm. So if you have all these health issues and then you're mad, like, why do I have to pay so much in health insurance? Well, first of all, you should have got it before you had the stroke. And first of all, you should have got it when you was 200 pounds lighter, but we're not going to go there. We're here now. So let's get you some type of coverage. But that's the price you got to pay. So the healthier you are, the younger you are, that is when you get life insurance. You don't wait. You don't know what's going to happen, because in an instant, something can change and happen.
let's go to
It's
the
something
board.
as simple as a speeding ticket
Mhm.
to change the price of that life insurance policy.
Let's go to the board. Jennifer Ross. Hey, girl, how you doing? Very difficult discussion to have. She said, I had to have it with my mother before she passed, but I was able to make sure she had everything she wanted.
Good for you. You know what? And you're absolutely right. It is a very difficult discussion to have. So that is why the 3P workbook is so vital. Because now you're putting the control into the person's hand and say, you know what? Nobody's saying you dying tomorrow. Hopefully you don't. Nobody's saying you're trying to go nowhere. We're just trying to make sure you prepare, and we want to make sure that you have all your wishes carried out, to make sure we have all the information that we need to make sure that everything flows smoothly. Because think about it, if it takes you a couple hours to find all your paperwork, it's going to take your family weeks and months to find everything.
Right. And speaking of, let's go to Savannah Jackson, my daughter. That's why you and mom need to go make a pre-arrangement.
No, they got it right here. They
Well,
go back to workbook.
Well, we need to talk about, for instance, telling your kids what you want and stuff like that. But, like Emily says, she wants to be cremated, and I
And
said,
that's stuff.
and
That's
and I'm starting to think, well, I'll probably be cremated.
me too.
Daughter said no.
And this is exactly why this is exactly why the legal documents I have in this book and everything I have in here, this is why you need it. Because that's the issue right there. Because your children may want something and you may want something else. This keeps you in control of what you want. So you want to be cremated, there's the legal document, the living will, living will document. I have the trust. I have all the documents in here where you go in front of a probate court, and this is why I say you get your wishes. Go in front of a probate court, get them legalized. And so therefore, I love you, my niece Savannah, beautiful. But if your parents want something different, then you can put in here as well. If they try to contest it, kick them out the room. Keep keep it going. And matter of fact, young as they are, they need to start have this as well. They got children, they're young, they're healthy. This is a time for y'all to be buying insurance as well.
Let's go back to her. She says, no, I need it in a file at the funeral home. Hello, I need more than word of mouth. Then let's go back to her again. She said, I said no because I know my father wants to have a huge celebration. Laugh my butt off.
You know what?
I will do whatever you want, Dad.
He can have that. He just has to have enough life insurance to take care of that celebration.
And last thing, I'm not making them do anything. I'll do whatever they want. I just know my dad. LOL.
Hey, no, I can't argue with her. She's right about that. So here's the thing. You just got to make sure you have enough money to cover that big celebration that you want. But I hope you don't want to spend all that money on the celebration.
No.
Leave it for your children.
But see, you this is one thing that you talk about in your book, and when it comes down to Savannah, kids want different things. People want different things. No, she wants her dad to be buried where all the Roberts are buried and stuff like that because of tradition. If that makes her happy, that makes her happy. But you don't spend all the money because you want the money to go to them and the grandkids.
Exactly. And so, that's a personal choice, but that's a choice that you make. But it's something I wrote the call to action, this 3P workbook, to make sure that whatever your wishes are, that they're going to be carried out and that nobody can contest them. I live in Georgia here. My husband's from New York. Okay. So we're not our roots are here because we've been here this long. But if something happened to either one of us, where are we going? What are we doing? He going back to New York? When I'm going back to Michigan? No. To me, just, me personally, I want to be cremated and I want everybody to get a little pinned it or whatever and just take me with you wherever you go in the country or whatever. That's what I want to do. Now, he wants to be buried back in New York. Okay, fine. We got to make sure that's going to happen, but you have to make sure when you're talking to insurance agencies that you're making sure that that transfer in the body and all that kind of stuff and is going to be covered in the amount of coverage that you want.
Okay, so let's talk about from the beginning to the book to the end of the book. Somebody gets the book. Where does it start and where does it end?
It starts with me talking about why, first of all, I did it, mission and those type of things. But it starts with here's what's in the book, and that was in the video there too. Okay, so it's first of all, it's going to have all your excuse me, your personal information. You need your personal information. You need all the stuff that's going to be needed, if you pass away or you're incapacitated. It's got your bank account information, your passcodes. It's got your past and current health history. It has your bill payment information, what bills need to be paid, what date they're due, those type of things. It has a durable power of attorney in it. Durable power of attorney is something very, very important, okay? A last will and testament, a living will and healthcare provider of attorney. I talk about people out there that's cohabitating without that certificate. I'm not judging or any of that kind of stuff at all. But if you're out there, you're living with somebody and you're not married, if something happens to that other person, guess who they're going to go to? They're going to the next of kin. You don't have no say so. Well, none whatsoever, no security. This right here, this living will and healthcare power of attorney is something that's going to get you some security. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to tell them, but all right, revocation of living will. I don't know if you know, last year we had the first Black female president for 45 minutes. Did you know that?
For 45 minutes, yes, we did.
You did? You remember? You know that? You know why?
He was incapacitated because he was having surgery.
Exactly. All right. And then we have a revocation of will. When he came out of it or whatever, then he was able to get his power back. Absolutely. I have that documentation here as well. Preferred contact list. If something happens to you, who do you want to be called? First, phone numbers, names. You got it down there. Who don't you want to be called? Okay. Mm-hmm. Who do you want, who do you want to speak at your funeral? Who don't you want to speak at your funeral? Do you want to write your own obituary down? All those things are listed in here. Your life insurance policies is the first thing that they're going to see. Is right here. All the policies you have, how much it's worth, those type of things. I have supplemental life insurance policies that's listed in here because that's so important to keep your house running. If you have a heart attack, stroke, accident, make sure you still have money coming in. Mortgage protection, all your final wishes concerning your burial or cremation, your social security information. People don't understand how important that is to have that because you're going to have to call. Who you're going to have to call and what things you're going to have to do with that. Your employment information. You could have worked in one state, moved to another state. Do you have a pension there still? Do you have some money somewhere else? You need to know that information. So I have that here. Your social media accounts. Who's going to handle social media accounts? They don't have your passwords. You still, the guy that my DJ, his account is still up running. Nothing, because nobody knows his accounts. Mark Zuckerberg ain't giving no information out. That information is there. And by the way, brother, you're in charge of mine, by the way. Okay.
Matter of fact, Vicky and you are in charge of mine. So
yeah. So all assets and liability information in a step-by-step checklist for after your loved one has passed away of what to do, because people say, you know what to do, but you kind of don't know what you do. Because you're grieving right now at this time, but in this book, it is step by step what you have to do, who you have to call. I have the phone numbers in here for Veterans Affairs, Social Security numbers, all kinds of the people that you have to contact, everything that you absolutely need so your loved ones can grieve the way they want to grieve and don't have to worry about anything else.
Okay, Tonya, we're getting, it's 2:50 and people are going, how can people get a hold of your book?
Absolutely. And that's in the video I had there, but they can go to www.LLT, and that's Life, Legacy, and Transformation. That's my company. I call Life, Legacy, and Transformation. www.LLT3P, and that's the number 3, the P workbook.com.
Uh, Let me
www.llt3pworkbook.com. Or if you see the commercial, if you play that back over, the QR code is on there. Just go click, take a picture of the QR code, and you can go there.
run that back, Lady J. Hold on just a second. Is that www right there? Is that address
That's
right
it.
there?
3pworkbook.com. That's it.
Now,
Or
if
yeah, and in the video that you saw, the QR code is listed there. You can just snap the QR code, and of course, you can go ahead and get
let me
that.
go to the board. Savannah says people have no idea what to do after someone passed. I have to talk to people about it all the time. She works
Absolutely.
at a funeral home
Yep.
and
And this, absolutely. And this and here is a step-by-step guide. When I say step-by-step, I'm saying absolutely step-by-step. And then along with the information I put in with it, you know who to call first, you know what to do first, you know, absolutely, you know, if they died at home and they have medications and all that kind of stuff that they need to gather together and get rid. It's absolutely everything you need to do. So you don't have to think about it.
okay, hold on. The board's blowing up. As a certified financial planner, I cannot tell you how many widows and widowers were lost when their spouse and partner passed. Thank you, Sister Vicky.
Absolutely.
And Pastor Melvin Burns. Can people, what do you mean Greg's age, that are not insured still get life insurance? That is a good question, though.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can get life insurance up until the age of 85. So, I mean, now it depends on your health and all that kind of stuff as far as, you know, what type you can get, but you can get life insurance with the companies I'm with. I'm a life insurance agent. I'm appointed in 16 different states. So therefore, if you need life insurance, it's those 16 different states. I can absolutely help you. If not, just make sure you get some agents or whatever state you're in, and you can get it up to the age of 85. But like I said, you have to be very clear about the agents you're talking to as
It's
far as
two.
what life
It's
insurance you get.
2:53. The show. We only got 7 minutes, but time to talk briefly about some of the insurance schemes, policy schemes that you should stay away from.
What do you mean policy?
Or insurance, like, oh, you can get insurance $9.95.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got to read the fine print with that. Okay, so that 995, what they're talking about, like when you see that 995 insurance are bought in units. Okay, so say you have say a unit. One unit may be $500. Or one unit may be $1,000. So it say
Wow.
it's $995, but that $995 is for $500. So if you need $12,000, how many units you gonna have to buy is gonna cost you way more than $995. You got to read the fine print with that stuff. So that's they get you with that $995. That's exactly. Yes, insurance is bought in units. So if you say it's $995, you should be asking, okay, is that per unit, which it is? How much is it per unit? So if they say, well, it's 500 per unit, okay, well, I need $5,000 worth of insurance. So therefore, you know, right there, that's gonna you're not paying 95, you're paying a lot more money.
I want you to go
And they
back.
may have a 2-year waiting period on it as well.
I want to go back, and you said something that was very important for people that Savannah's age, that they buy life insurance
It
now.
is so vital that the younger and healthier you are, you need to get it right now because you can get it at the least amount of money. Okay, it's so cheap for y'all to get insurance right now. It's not even funny. If you're healthy and young, you need to get it right now. Especially you have kids. Y'all can get some of the policies that I'm talking about that you can be putting in money, and it doesn't have to be a whole lot of money that you're putting in for your child. By the time they graduate, you got money for them to be able to go to school. If they're a knucklehead at that time, then you can keep the money yourself and do whatever you want to with it because you're the owner of the policy.
What about the people that tell you that, yeah, you got a policy, you can borrow, take some money out of the policy?
There are yeah, this is the policies I'm talking about, the universal life policy. You can get money out of that account. You don't have to pay that back. Okay, but whole life policies you can borrow against them, and you have to pay that money back because it's tax sheltered. It's tax. You know, you got to pay taxes on it.
Another
So
question.
you can.
Another question: should people purchase term or whole life insurance?
It depends on your situation. If you don't have, um, you know, if you have a mortgage, if you have children, you absolutely need to be having some type of whole life insurance or universal life. I'm for universal life. Term policies are good for us. We just bought a house. So a term policy is good, it's cheap. Therefore, it's going to cover the 30 years for us. And so therefore, if something happens, our house is going to be paid for. Okay. That's term. That's the only reason I'm using term for. Some people like to use term because it's cheap, and they said they invest their money some other way. If you're disciplined and you can invest it in other places, that's fine. But if not, it depends on your situation. I'm all for index universal life, those type of policies, for the simple fact of the interest rates that they have. Now they have some other things that come with it, but if you want to break out call, if you're in Michigan, you can call me and we can talk about that.
Give that information, how to get the book again, and also if people want to follow you because you're doing some amazing workouts, how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so all that's all that stuff's on the end of the video there. I'm on. First of all, if you want to get in contact with me, my website is www.llt lifelegacyandtransformation.com. So it's www.llt.com. That is my website if you want to get a hold of me. Okay. There, and also the workbook is www.llt3pworkbook.com. My workouts, I am Tonya Roberts Ford, and that's on Facebook. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all the YouTube. I'm on all the social media sites for the workouts and for my insurance as well.
Listen, we got 2 minutes. You have the last say. What do you say to that person that I don't need it? I don't need insurance.
I say, how selfish are you to leave that burden on your loved ones? How selfish. That's such a selfish thing to do, to not make sure that you have your affairs in order so that you won't leave that on your loved ones to be able to have to figure out how to take care of your affairs. It's a very selfish thing. It's the last love letter you can write to your loved ones, is to make sure that all your affairs are in order.
Lady J, play that video. Can you get that video ready and play that? Tonya, I can't tell you. Emily Roberts, I want to get that. Linda Moore Vines, it is a selfish burden indeed.
Yeah.
Emily, thank you, Tonya. Very informative.
Thank you, sister.
So if you got that video, play that video again. Listen, it's torn in two. Thank you so much, sister. I love you dearly. I'm looking for the book of Sister Vicky. Great info. I love you so much. I love you dearly. Listen, go sow a seed in somebody's life. You don't know who you can change. And, prime is happening for somebody. They deserve the right to have a good prime. So the shooting, the hell with that. Go to video. We talk to you next week. I love you.
I love you too.